Hello everybody, my name is Joshua and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee, Cats, and King, where we will discuss books, both new and old. I will share with you pictures of my cats, will make you wish they were your cats, and I will drink enough coffee for me and everybody watching. The mug today is my hipster cat mug. Compliments of my lovely mother. The shirt is Time Enough to Last, another excellent episode of Twilight Zone. And you will see that I'm sans glasses today. It's because I finally got a new contact prescription, and so hopefully I won't have to wear the glasses quite as often. But I'm here today with a tag video. I was going through YouTube this morning. I was trying to come up with an idea on what I wanted to do for this next one. And Mindy over at Mindy's Book Journey happened to do this Spring Has Sprung tag, and it looked like a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the questions and her answers, and so I decided, you know, what the heck, I'm going to do it. It's 9 questions, 9 prompts, and then at the end I'm supposed to tag people, so... you guys have not been getting cat footage, and I apologize for that. So actually, before I get started with the questions, I'm going to throw some cat footage in here. And now we will get into the questions. So, number 1, Flowers, a book that's a fresh take on a retelling. I have talked about this book before, but it's one that, again, a lot of people haven't seen or talked about or read, and there's some really great stuff in there. This is Classics Mutilated. This is all about mashups of classics with horror and Lovecraftian themes, and it is overall a very solid collection. There are a couple of not so great stories in there, but this one is a blast. It actually has one of my absolute favorite Joe R. Lansdale stories of all time in there. I'm not going to say anything about it because I want you guys to grab this collection and read it and enjoy it. But what he does with that story is just so much fun and so disturbing at the same time. Overall, a very fun collection, one that I highly suggest to you guys. Looks great on your bookshelf, and it's just so different. So pick up Classics Mutilated. The next prompt is Cadbury Mini Eggs, a book you consider a sweet treat. So for that one, I wanted to talk about, again, Gregory Miller's The Uncanny Valley. And this is an absolutely delightful collection. This is sort of a short story collection, all based around the idea that this radio station got all these letters from these people at a place called Uncanny Valley that no one can seem to find as part of a radio contest. And they're reading through, and you're reading through, and they progressively get stranger, and you start to realize that this place, this Uncanny Valley, is very uncanny, and that the people there are just unlike any other that you have met. And it's such a delightful collection. I ate it up the first time I read it. I absolutely love it. You know, whether it's been 5 years since I've read it or 5 days since I've read it, I can pick it up and enjoy it all over again. Highly suggested to you. I love Gregory Miller, and this collection in particular is a great one. All right, number 3 is Allergies, a book that made you cry. And I've picked 2 here. One I'm just going to mention in name because someone else has done this book more justice than I possibly could. So that book is The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DiCamillo. And for those of you that are not familiar with this book, I'm not going to say anything about it here. I'm simply going to link it down below where the ever wonderful Pax talked about it over at Pax Panic. She read this and she has said everything that I think I could say about it. It is a beautiful, heartbreaking, somewhat disturbing story that is meant for kids but really not meant for kids, and it's most likely going to bring a tear or two to your eye. Now the one that I will talk about, however, is one that I've not heard anyone else talk about, and I believe I mentioned this one back in the early days of this channel, but this is After the Death of Ana Gonzalez by Terry Fields. Now I'll say right out that I'm not an emotional person. I don't show emotion very often or very well, and I certainly don't cry. Not because I think it's the manly thing or anything like that. That's silly and stupid. I just don't. But this book brought me to tears. It did. This is essentially a poetry collection, and the idea being that just a few days prior, a student at a school, her name being Ana Gonzalez, committed suicide, and as a coping tool, a bunch of the faculty and students, they've all been tasked with writing something basically to talk about their emotions and talk about how they're feeling about this event. And this one really hits hard for me. I'm not going to get into details of my own life, but a lot of us have experienced this sort of thing, and it's something that's not talked about often enough. Just the sheer monumental change that can occur in so many lives after the passing of one person, especially after the accidental or unexpected death of a person, and this book hit so hard for me. If you're someone that's been affected by suicide, then this is a book that just I don't know. Like I said, it felt. I don't know what to say about it. I'm going to suggest that you guys pick this up. Of all the books that I mentioned here, I'm going to suggest that this and one other are the books that you guys pick up, because these are the ones that are important. All these others are for fun, they're for show. After the Death of Ana Gonzalez is not for fun, it is not for show. It is about an immensely important topic, and I wish that others would read it. Now, number 4 is Spring Cleaning. It says, pick a book to unhaul. And just wait a second. So I actually just went through my books. Not an extensive process, but just a quick culling, if you will. And so I have an entire bag here filled with books that I am unhauling, that I am either giving away or that I am selling on eBay. So I think that part's been done, but I went on and grabbed this off my shelf too. This is The Hunter by Donald Westlake. writing as Richard Stark, and this is what sounds like, a noir crime novel. When I was just reading the back, it sounds like nothing at all that I'm interested in, and I'm never going to read it. I know I'm never going to read it, so I'm going to add it to this massive stack over here, and that is my unhaul. Number 5 is a book involving a road trip, and for this I had to get some King on here, so I picked Stephen King's Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And there are actually a multitude of stories in this particular collection that kind of take care of this prompt, if you will. But in this case, I will mention 2. I will mention Chattery Teeth, which is about a businessman on a trip who stops at a little tourist trap kind of place, almost, if you will, and picks up these ridiculous, giant, oversized chattery teeth. The kinds that you twist the thing in the back and yeah, that sort of thing. So he picks them up and also picks up a man who needs a ride, and the story goes from there. In addition to that, I will talk about Dolan's Cadillac, which has always been a very enjoyable one for me. It is not the most realistic story, I suppose, but it is very entertaining, and it kind of involves a bit of a road trip for those of you that have read it. But yeah, a lot of fun. I love that whole collection. It's got some of his more ridiculous, outlandish stories, but just highly entertaining. So, Nightmares and Dreamscapes, pick it up, read it. I know it's a thick one, but well worth it. It's got some good stuff in there. Alright, the next one is Mating Season, a book with some smutty delight. For this, my first instinct was Richard Lehman, Darkness Tell Us. Now, it's not because this particular book is outlandishly sexual. I don't know. I haven't actually even read this one by Richard Lehman, although I have read many other books by him, but I haven't read this one. I grabbed it off my shelf because if you have read any Richard Lehman, and as I'm sure Juan can tell you, the man does not know how to write a book without there being smut involved. So I don't need to read this to tell you that somewhere in here there's going to be some overly gratuitous sexual scenes. And you might be saying, well, Josh, now that's not fair. You haven't read it. Maybe this is the one book that has nothing to do with sex whatsoever. Okay, fair, valid point. So I offer you Edward Lee's Monstrosity. And this is another man who cannot write a book without there being some really gross, over-the-top sex involved. Monstrosity I have read, and I can promise you that there is sex. It is not sexy, but it is definitely slimy, and I think that'll count for smutty. So there you go, Edward Lee's Monstrosity, if you want gross out sexual scenes. Or anything else by Ed Lee, for that matter. He is kind of one of the grandfathers of splatterpunk, so that should tell you all you need to know as far as what you're getting into. Alright, number 7. Rainbows, a book featuring an LGBTQ plus character. Alright, I try to keep these lighthearted most of the time. I know I do my rant reviews and stuff sometimes, but this is one I actually intend to talk about in its own video because a lot of you guys don't watch these tag videos. But I'm going to mention it here. This is not a book that I've read yet. This is not a book that is even out yet. It comes out on May 1st, but I want to tell you guys about it. So I'm going to tell you about it here. I'm going to tell you about it in my next video, and I'm probably going to talk about it in the video after that because this is an important one, guys. This is that other important one I was talking about when I mentioned After the Death of Ana Gonzalez. This is a collection coming out on May 1st titled Your Body Is Not Your Body, a new weird horror anthology to benefit trans youth in Texas. Now, I understand that some of you obviously do not live here in the United States. However, I believe it is a worldly issue when we are talking about the reaction that people are having in regards to the trans community. And I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to say that do some research if you don't know. There's some stuff going on in Texas right now that is just an absolute atrocity. That really is the best way to describe it. It's an atrocity. And essentially, they're one step away from being able to put people in jail for being trans, and being able to put parents in jail for telling their kids that it is okay. Do your research. And I like debates as much as the next guy. This is not a debate. If you are not on my side in regards to this particular subject, do me a favor, go down and unsubscribe from my channel, because I don't want you here. Okay? If you are not in support of trans individuals, I don't want you here. Goodbye, leave, go find somebody else. If, however, you are, then I want to tell you about this collection that is coming out in about a week, 2 weeks. So Your Body Is Not Your Body, as I said, is a collection of 30 different authors putting together stories from fantasy, from science fiction, from horror, but all involving body horror. And this collection, the proceeds go towards helping trans youth in Texas who are going through just the worst hell imaginable right now. And I'm trying not to get mad, but I'm mad. I'm mad that this is even a thing that we have to talk about and discuss. It shouldn't be. It should be. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I can't. I'll be talking about it in another video. I'm going to be talking about this in another video. Point being, I'm breaking my book ban to buy this because this is more important than some stupid self-imposed book ban. So I'm going to put a picture up over here, and I keep going to it because I have it on my computer here. But so, like I said, guys, over 30 creators from the transgender, non-conforming communities come together to voice their rage, defiance, and fearlessness in the new weird horror tradition. So, some of the stories to give you guys an idea. A centaur seeks illicit surgery in an alien bodily modification club. 2 medieval monks react to their transformation and demonic pregnancy in very different ways. A resourceful trans teen destroys sports bigots through the power of pluckiness and gratuitous body horror. A spacebound cathedral crosses galaxies to dump the corpse of God into a star. Hopefully they won't be distracted from their mission by excessive psychedelic orgies. So they're keeping this nasty because they too are pretty upset. Upset, it goes beyond that, obviously. You know what I'm saying. I said what's happening is an atrocity, and I'm going to do whatever I can to voice that and to help those that are suffering. And that is basically everyone in the LGBTQ plus community. So it's $8. It's $8 to pre-order this book. Please put in $8. Let's support these folks. Let's do what we can to help, because my God, man, I feel like I'm putting in a plea to say, you know, hey guys, the Holocaust is happening and we should really be helping out. It doesn't even make sense that I should have to talk about it. But this is happening and we need to help out. So do what you can, guys. Pre-order this book. I love body horror. I think it's going to be nasty and wicked and awesome. And I'm very excited for it. May 1st it comes out. Gotta calm myself back down here now. Alright, number 8. Spring Awakening, a book filled with completely dysfunctional characters. Alright, the book I want to talk about is Night Terrors by Tim Waggoner. And I actually gave this to one of my subscribers, this and the other books in the series. I don't know if she's read it yet. If you have, let me know down below. You know who you are. If not, it's okay. I know you're a busy lady. But this collection of books is awesome. It's horror, and it's humorous, and it's dark, and it's a lot of fun. This is essentially about this other dimension, if you will, where all of our nightmares go to, and certain people are tasked with teaming up with their nightmares to protect the waking world. And this particular woman is teamed up with her nightmare. Her nightmare happens to be Jinx, this massive clown who has terrified her for years and years, and now she has to be his partner and fight other nightmare creatures in this other realm, if you will. And the whole series is just a blast. There is some great imagery in there. It's, like I said, it is very darkly humorous and just so much fun. But every character in here is messed up. Why wouldn't they be? They have to team up with their absolute nightmares, their actual nightmares, in order to do good and save others. So that tells you how dysfunctional these people are. But it's so much fun, and Jinx is just one of my favorite characters. He is so zany and so ridiculous and knows exactly how to push his partner's buttons to freak her out. I love it. Alright, number 9, In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lamb, a series that didn't get better as it progressed. This is one that I read quite a few years ago. This is the Bad Games series by Jeff Menapace. And I don't know if I said his name quite right, but if I didn't, then, you know, oh well, I didn't particularly care for his books. The first book, Bad Games, I have a lot of fun with. It's sort of a cat and mouse thriller horror about a killer and the man he's stalking. And it was a lot of fun. And then there are 2 others in the series. And so the first one got, I think, 4.5 or 5 stars from me. Second one, which was called Vengeful Games, went down to about a 2.5, 3 stars. It was a definite jump down. The book just got really ridiculous and out there. And then the last one was called Hellbent, and I hated every second of it. It was 1 star, would have been less if I could give it. So the series was just a major downgrade past every book. If you're going to read it, read the first one, read Bad Games. It was a pretty good book. Don't bother with the rest. The series just, it sucked after that, and the payoff was not in any way worth the suffering that I had to go through to get through the last of the books. So number 10 is simply Fun in the Sun, Tag Some Friends. I'm going to tag 2 people here. I'm going to tag Ariel from Reading and Whatnot, because she has just made recently her triumphant return to BookTube, and I'm very excited for it. I want to see more videos from her, and I think she would have a lot of fun answers for this tag. And I'm going to tag Elizabeth Sagewood because, again, I'm just very curious how she would answer some of these questions. I think that she's going to come up with some books that that some of us maybe haven't heard of. And she always gives a very interesting perspective on things. So those are the 2 people I'm going to tag. That is the full video. I'm going to give you a couple more cat pictures here now, just because I can. Aww. Aww. And I'm going to leave off with this, guys. As I said, I try and make these videos fun, but certain things trigger me as they do other people. If you can spare it, please. Pre-order Your Body Is Not Your Body. It's so vitally important. These kids, they need our help in any way that we can do it. And if that means that all I can do is throw money, then I'm going to throw some money, you know? Aside from that, read After the Death of Ana Gonzalez. It is so important, guys, that we acknowledge these things, that we acknowledge both of these things that happen daily and have no business happening. So there you go. I'm sorry that I didn't end on the most positive note, but sometimes you just have to be serious, right? So that's it. My lovely wife is going to be gone this week from another business trip, so if I don't seem to be in the happiest of moods when you see me in the next few videos, then that's why. But yeah, I've got a couple more coming up. One where I'm going to talk just about this collection, and you better believe when it comes out, I'll be talking about it then as well. And that'll do it. Stay safe, drink lots of great coffee, and have some fun, guys. Spring is here. Cheers.